So I'm Jenny Johnston, founder of Quantum EFT, and I'd like to introduce you to Richard Dalke, who is the first male certified quantum EFT practitioner from the northwest of the US. And Richard, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I have a master's degree in counseling, and I've been counseling for a little over 40 years. And I realized after a while that it seemed like talk therapy really wasn't quite doing the job, and so wanted to explore some other alternatives. And I came across the EFT Universe through one of the tapping summits actually a couple of years ago, and I heard Dawson Church on there, and I thought, oh, I got to check this out. This EFT stuff sounds pretty darn good. And to be quite frank, years ago, I had done a little bit of EFT in a workshop my wife and I went to, and I thought it was quite frankly the craziest thing I ever saw. And how could that possibly be of any use to anybody? And then when I listened to Dawson, I thought, no, there's something to this. And so I jumped right in and became certified as an EFT practitioner. And I got certified in that a little over about a year and a half ago. And I was practicing with clients and I was working with clients, starting to build my business. And bit by bit, I learned that there's also a couple of other things. There's also energy psychology, that has some really interesting techniques, and also quantum EFT from Jenny. Because Jenny is one of the mentors at EFTU, and so I had seen her. And I thought, no, that sounds interesting also. One of the reasons I was interested in quantum EFT is because years ago, I used to do past life regressions with people when I did some hypnosis. And I do it in groups, maybe 20, 30 people. And I thought, this is fascinating stuff. And I've always believed in reincarnation and people that live other lives and all that sort of thing. And so I got my certification in EFT, regular EFT, what I call classic EFT. And then I thought, well, okay, let me take the quantum EFT. And I got certified in that here, actually, just this last May. I believe May or June. And then right after that, I finished up energy psychology and also got certified in that. So I'm certified in all three of those. And one of the reasons, or one of the ways that I found it really interesting for me personally, first of all, with quantum, is that my wife died about 7.5 years ago, and I've actually had what I call visitations from her. And my quantum EFT has helped me sort of tune into that part of myself that can be receptive to both my wife, and actually my brother passed away about a year ago, and I've also had visitations from him as well. And so I'm really a firm believer in past life regressions and past life experiences. And one of the ways it's helped me is actually with some of the swap partners, which I really enjoy all the other swap partners in quantum EFT. They're great people. Uh, when I was a client, I learned like a couple of interesting things. One, I had a session where I realized that I was one of the Native Americans at Custer's Last Stand. And through that practice or through that session, it really helped build myself being a feeling of empowerment, I would call it
Mm.
probably. Another swap session I wanted to work on a sort of a poverty consciousness, overcoming poverty consciousness, sort of building my abundance confidence. And I realized in a past life that I was in a debtor's prison. And I learned how to release the emotional attachment to that and let go of that somewhat. And now I'm building a practice where I'm actually reaching my financial goals on a weekly and a monthly basis. And so that's really helped me personally. And then some of my clients are quite interesting that I do quantum EFT with. There's two different kinds. One is a client that is actually just starting with sort of like, well, let's just have a regular EFT session. And voila, halfway through, oh, I see this past life coming up. What's going on here? And so
Mhm.
having that ability to shift quite effortlessly, quite gracefully into quantum from the EFT has been really helpful. There was one lady I was working with that she wanted to just work on a fear of flying, a
Mhm.
phobia of getting on airplanes. And it turns out she moved to a past life where she had I don't remember exactly, but somehow that was connected to a fear of flying, and we were able to help release the emotional attachment to that. And she's been on airplanes since that time. For another client of mine, I've worked with actually about, geez, 7, 8, 9, 10 sessions, and all he wants is quantum EFT. And I swear, every single lifetime he's gone back into as some sort of physical abuse, sexual abuse, strangulation, just horrible stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's in a past life, he's able to more readily sort of see it like either like kind of watching it on a movie screen or some kind of safe distance from it so that he can feel protected and safe and really experience all this kind of stuff, release the emotional attachment to it. And now he's feeling like he's one of the things he's wanting to do is feel more empowered, also more well, I guess you could say find his voice and really say, this is who I am, this is what I believe, rather than sort of shrinking all the time. He said, well, last time he was with a friend of his who usually he sort of sits back and just listens to the friend talk about stuff that he doesn't really believe in. And this time he said, no, I spoke up and said, no, that stuff you're talking about is all a bunch of crap. He never would have said anything like that in the past. And so that's really fascinating to see him grow from releasing all of this past information from past lives that really held him back, felt him like he wasn't very empowered. He couldn't find his voice, and be able to sort of explore more and more and more of who he authentically is in this lifetime. Because one of my firm beliefs is that quantum EFT is not just for curiosity's sake, it's for how past life information is impacting my current life and how I can improve my current life because of learning about that. And every once in a while, I'll have a client that doesn't really believe in past lives. And so I tell them, well, that's totally okay. We can use it as a metaphor, or we can just build a story around what might have happened or what makes sense to you. And I swear the subconscious information that comes up can be considered a metaphor, a past life, a memory, a dream. It doesn't make any difference. It's, can I release the emotional attachment to those images, those sensations, those memories, so that I can improve my current life? That's what's important. And that's what I really see is really important. And having both being certified and just having the knowledge of regular classic EFT, energy psychology, and quantum EFT means I can sort of seamlessly move in and out through any of those and help clients in all kinds of different directions that they might not have expected. And one of the things I always see, and I think just about all of us practitioners see, is that EFT of any kind, whether that's the classic quantum or the energy psychology, always has surprises and a little bit of magic. And like, where'd that come from?
Mm-hmm.
Wherever people start, it's not where we end up. There's always some information. The subconscious is it's sort of a jokester, it seems like in some ways, as far as the information and how it'll present it to us is always a surprise. And I call that the sort of the golden nuggets of an EFT session, is finding those little surprises, like where did that come from? And then I don't know, but let's explore it and let's see where it goes. And it always pretty much always goes in a direction that's very helpful for the client. So I really enjoy doing all this kind of EFT, and it's really helped me improve. Well, this is the first time, I mean, I've worked for other companies most of my life, and now I have a private practice. Most people my age, I'm 76, are retired. And in fact, one of my clients says, you sort of surprise me because, most people your age, they're sort of in nursing homes and they're sort of drooling or whatever. And here you are doing all this stuff. I said, it doesn't matter how old you are. If you have an interest and a passion for something, go for it. So
Mm.
that's kind of my story.
That's fantastic. And I love how you've also brought in the mining the Akash part of quantum EFT, which we do in the workshops as well. But you've obviously mined the Akash when you were, part of the Custer
Yes,
scenario,
yes,
and you've brought in that leadership, etc., and
yeah.
activated it in this lifetime. So that's great. So thanks
Hmm.
for being a certified quantum EFT practitioner, Richard, and whoever works with you, I know they'll benefit from you.
Thank you, Jenny. Yeah, I really enjoyed taking your classes and becoming the first male EFT, quantum EFT certified practitioner in the world.
Yes. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.